Get ready for the biggest news in football. We start with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the reaction to Aaron Rodgers' development. It became crystal clear that Aaron Rodgers did not meet with the Steelers during an alleged trip to Pittsburgh before Monday arrived. NFL reporter Mike Florio and insider Michael Silver are dissecting exactly how the Steelers reacted to this latest development, revealing that internally, the Steelers' reaction was simply, "It's just Aaron being Aaron." We dive deep into what this means for the future of the Steelers and Rodgers.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This Allen 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we explore the massive question hanging over Steel City Underground. What if Aaron Rodgers doesn't return? For months, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers have been locked in an endless waiting game, and the possibility of him walking away throws the entire organization into chaos. We look at the strategic decisions the Steelers made, including hiring his former head coach and avoiding other veteran quarterbacks, and examine the dramatically different outlook if Rodgers never comes back, focusing on the shift from contender to survival. Now we move to the bigger picture with the top 10 unresolved NFL issues that didn't get resolved over the offseason, featuring the Aaron Rodgers saga. We look at why the Steelers were stuck waiting on Rodgers after insisting they wouldn't repeat the situation, and we compare that to other major offseason struggles, like the Bengals' offensive line woes and the complex situation surrounding Hunter and the Jaguars' two-way player. Finally, we wrap up with the latest insider details on the Steelers' reaction to Aaron Rodgers' surprise trip to Pittsburgh. General Manager Omar Khan revealed that the Steelers didn't know Rodgers was even coming, and reporter Mike Florio suggests Rodgers might be looking out for his own best interests in negotiations. If Rodgers doesn't return, the future of the Steelers' quarterback room, featuring Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Drew Allar, hangs in the balance. Stay with us for more breaking news. The situation surrounding quarterback Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers has sparked significant discussion among fans and media following reports of his recent activities. It has become evident that Rodgers did not meet with the Steelers during an alleged trip to Pittsburgh before Monday. NFL reporter Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk and league insider Michael Silver of The Athletic have offered insights into the Steelers' reaction to the latest developments in the Rodgers saga, which may soon reach a conclusion. Florio reported that internally within the Steelers organization, the reaction was characterized by a sense of familiarity. It's just Aaron being Aaron. It's just Aaron doing whatever Aaron does, and Aaron does things that people don't expect. While some had anticipated a resigning by Rodgers before the start of the off-season training, OTAs, on May 18, recent reports suggest a different internal dynamic. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano and Adam Schefter indicated that Rodgers is likely to return to the Pittsburgh depth chart before the club enters its summer break in June. Michael Silver commented on the situation, stating that team sources indicated the Steelers' leadership was surprised by reports of Rodgers' visit because no meeting had been scheduled. Silver noted, "They claim to be out of the loop, and now they wait." The Steelers' actions since the start of the new league year in March have suggested that head coach Mike McCarthy has maintained confidence that the Hall of Famer would eventually resign. An ESPN article highlighted this sentiment, noting that the Steelers liked what they got out of Aaron Rodgers last season, believe he can do it again, and thought that running it back with him was their best course of action. Rodgers was instrumental in guiding the 2025 Steelers to a 10-7 record and an AFC North Division title, though the team ultimately suffered a 36 loss to the Houston Texans in the wildcard round of the playoffs. Graziano added that the team is familiar with Rodgers' habits and is content to allow him the time necessary to provide an answer. The outcome of this ongoing situation remains uncertain, with observers waiting to see if a definitive answer emerges before the third weekend of May concludes. The uncertainty surrounding Aaron Rodgers' return looms large over the Pittsburgh Steelers, as the team navigates a critical offseason, forcing the organization to confront a high-stakes contingency plan. With months of speculation dominating the narrative, the possibility that Rodgers will not return presents a drastically different scenario for the franchise. Prior to the uncertainty, the Steelers' offseason strategy appeared heavily predicated on Rodgers' eventual return, evidenced by the hiring of his former head coach and the addition of offensive weapons. The team notably avoided aggressively pursuing another established veteran quarterback or using premium draft capital on immediate starters, suggesting a belief in Rodgers' comeback. However, if Rodgers remains out, Pittsburgh faces a significant quarterback dilemma heading into the 2026 season, relying on a combination of Mason Rudolph and two newcomers. Last year's sixth-round pick, Will Howard, and this year's third-round selection, Drew Allar. This lineup represents a stark contrast to having a veteran quarterback with MVP credentials. Without Rodgers, the team's outlook shifts from contender to survival. Rodgers' proven ability to protect the football and make pre-snap adjustments is seen as irreplaceable. The competition in the AFC remains intense, featuring elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Losing Rodgers would necessitate a fundamental shift in offensive philosophy, demanding the defense carry games consistently and the running game dominate. Mike McCarthy may need to simplify the offense considerably. Ironically, Mason Rudolph could become a pivotal player if Rodgers departs, as he is the only other quarterback who has taken regular season snaps and commands locker room respect. While the Steelers trust Rudolph to stabilize the offense, his ceiling against the AFC elite remains a question mark. The most immediate danger lies in the scrutiny placed on the young quarterbacks. If Rodgers does not return, the focus will immediately pivot to the performance of Howard and Allar. Every misstep by Rudolph could fuel intense pressure on the rookies, potentially creating dangerous overanalysis and undermining their development. If the situation deteriorates, the role of head coach Mike McCarthy becomes exceptionally challenging. The team has invested in believing they can win now, but without Rodgers, Pittsburgh risks being caught between competing and rebuilding without a clear direction. Furthermore, if Rodgers fails to return, the criticism will inevitably shift to the front office, questioning their decisions when entering the season without a clear under-center presence. Ultimately, the narrative surrounding the Rodgers situation is poised to define the entire 2026 season. While signs suggest a return is still possible, the longer the wait continues, the more realistic the alternative becomes, losing not just a quarterback, but the entire strategic direction of the offseason. The NFL offseason concludes, but significant unresolved issues plague numerous teams and players, leaving questions hanging ahead of training camp. A top 10 list highlights the lingering concerns across the league. One of the most persistent stories remains the Pittsburgh Steelers' wait for quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Despite assurances that the situation would not recur, the uncertainty surrounding a potential signing continues to dominate headlines. Should Rodgers decline, the Steelers face a lineup featuring Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, or Drew Allar, none of whom have seen regular season action. This situation is viewed as baffling given the team's recent AFC North title. The Cincinnati Bengals grapple with critical offensive deficiencies. The team struggled with an offensive line that failed to adequately protect Joe Burrow, and their defense has not been able to sufficiently support the offense. While the decision to prioritize defense was deemed reasonable, the lack of significant additions to the offensive line is a major concern, especially given Burrow's injury history. Hunter, the number 2 draft pick from last year, presents a unique conundrum. His dual-threat skill set as both a receiver and cornerback has led to questions about his role heading into the new season. Reports suggest a potential shift toward a full-time cornerback role, which the Jaguars have reportedly resisted, leaving the split of his playing time a key focus. The Miami Dolphins' gamble on quarterback Malik Willis has raised questions about roster evaluation. While the 3-year, $67.5 million contract was a move for a rebuilding team, the team's surrounding talent, a thin receiver group and a below-average offensive line, makes it difficult to assess Willis's potential. The Dallas Cowboys face volatility surrounding George Pickens. Despite signing a one-year, $27.3 million franchise tag deal, questions persist about his long-term commitment, especially when compared to lucrative offers like Alec Pierce's contract. The Cowboys have indicated they will not pursue a long-term deal at this time. In the draft landscape, the status of the unsigned top prospect remains a major talking point. Hill, recovering from a major leg injury that ended his 2025 season, remains the biggest name on the market besides Rodgers, with his age posing a factor. The Houston Texans have prioritized investment in defensive end Will Anderson Jr., while holding off on quarterback money. Similarly, C.J. Stroud's contract extension remains pending, with the team waiting to see his performance in the playoffs before committing. The Colts face uncertainty regarding their quarterback situation. Confidence is required that Daniel Jones will be fully recovered and ready for the season opener, as backup options remain questionable, including a trade attempt for Anthony Richardson, Sr. The Falcons are dealing with quarterback uncertainty, as one of their first-round picks is under contract. Meanwhile, defensive end James Pierce Jr. is facing potential NFL disciplinary issues related to prior charges. For the Washington Commanders, quarterback Daniels faces dual challenges. Coming off an injury-plagued season, he needs to acclimate quickly if they acquire Brandon Ayuk, navigating offensive issues that remain despite heavy investment in the defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers are grappling with the unexpected visit of Aaron Rodgers to the city over the weekend, a trip that did not include a face-to-face meeting with team leadership. The surprise visit has sparked internal speculation regarding Rodgers' intentions and his relationship with the franchise. General Manager Omar Khan confirmed that the team has had communications with Rodgers and his agent, though no further details were provided. The surprise element of the visit has drawn commentary from sports analysts. Mike Florio noted on his Pro Football Talk podcast that the internal Steelers' reaction was largely characterized by acceptance. It's just Aaron being Aaron. It's just Aaron doing whatever Aaron does. And Aaron does things that people don't expect. Florio suggested that Rodgers' actions might be strategic, speculating that he could be gauging his options during negotiations with Khan. He posited that Rodgers might be seeking an unwritten understanding, or handshake deal. Florio elaborated on this potential self-preservation tactic, stating, "This is where Aaron Rodgers protects himself." The context for this speculation is the Steelers' current situation. Rodgers was the starter last season, leading the team to a 10-6 record. The team has since hired former Green Bay head coach Mike McCarthy to take over from Mike Tomlin. If Rodgers does not return for a second season, the Steelers' quarterback depth consists of Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Drew Allar. The situation raises questions about Rodgers' future role, especially given the team's current trajectory and potential roster shifts.